You can do that for less than $1,000? Today we're going to be having a look at the first property in this series, which is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom villa. Through the video, I'll be doing a walkthrough of the property, looking at each of the different areas that were planned to be changed, and then look at some progressive photos of each of those areas, looking at the process and what things actually changed in the end. And then I'll end with a summary of before and after pics while talking about how much each area of the renovation cost and how the overall renovation affected different areas of the property's value and yield. As we make our way into the property, we go through a small garage with space for a car. And then we go through the front door and end up in a narrow corridor with doors leading to every individual room. This brings us to the first thing that was planned to be changed. The kitchen, dining and living areas were planned to be opened up to make the front area of the house feel more open and spacious. As we make our way down the corridor, we see bathroom and laundry on the left and the master bedroom on the right. And then straight ahead is a secondary bedroom. So the plan for the bedrooms were just to give them a bit of love, to redo the inbuilt cupboards that were in the rooms and also remove an old inbuilt gas heater that was in the master bedroom. A similar thing was planned for the bathroom, just to give it a bit of love, because all of the fundamental elements of the bathroom were still in very good condition. It just needed a bit of a touch up to make the whole room look less dated. Going back outside, we can see that there's a small yard down the side of the house. Because this wasn't very big and it was on a slope, it was decided to build a deck out the side, and then you could put a small table and chairs on it. Other than these main things, there were also smaller things that had to be done around the property to make the whole design look more cohesive and welcoming. As we can see, the kitchen was a bit dated, with waist-high cupboards, narrow benches, and an old oven and cooktop set. So the plan was to gut the room and build a newer, more modern-looking kitchen. So a good way to do this was to consult Bunnings. Through them, you can go into a service where they measure up the whole room and come up with design ideas that you can choose from. So you can choose the different cabinetry that you want and then have measured spaces for all of the appliances. After gutting the room, there was a hot water cylinder found in the corner, which was not ideal. So it was moved outside. After installing all of the new cabinetry and bench tops, the last thing to do was to add in all of the appliances, the fridge, dishwasher, and the oven and cooktop set. While this was happening, the main plan for the front end of the house was being carried out. So as I said, the kitchen and dining living areas were very closed off with doors going to each room. And this was because a few decades ago, heating was very expensive. But these days, air conditioning is a lot cheaper and more efficient. So having an open plan house is more desirable. As well as opening up the entrance to the dining and living area, there was another feature in the room that wasn't wanted. You may have spotted this wooden wall in other photos. The plan was for this to be taken down and replaced with a more modern gyprock wall, as well as replacing the inbuilt gas heater with an air conditioner that is mounted onto the wall. Another thing for this room was to get rid of the carpet, and this provided a nice surprise when solid Tazo floorboards were found underneath in perfect condition, and these floorboards better suited the dining area. On the other side of this wall was the master bedroom, which had the other side of the inbuilt gas heater flowing into it. Other than this, both bedrooms just needed a bit of a tidy up and the wardrobes replaced. And at this point in time, I had the opportunity to go through this property and help out a bit with taking apart the wardrobe in the master bedroom. Even though I was only 10 at the time, which means that I don't really remember it, it does look as though I had a bit of fun taking apart that wardrobe. The next place to move is the bathroom, and this part of the renovation is easily the cheapest out of the whole property. It was able to stay under $1,000 while still making the whole room look a lot better. All that was changed in this room were just painting some tiles and the laundry trough, replacing the shower curtain rail and blinds, and doing a bit of sanding around the room before painting it. Because the property was going to be rented out furnished, which means that you have to provide the tenant with all of the furniture and appliances, it meant that this room did end up costing more than $1,000 when you had to buy the washer and dryer and all the towels and all that. But I'm still counting this as under $1,000 because you don't have to rent out a property furnished, so all of those things are an optional thing to include. The last main change done to the property was in the small yard on the side of the property. So a wooden deck was built here, allowing for a table and chairs to be set up out there. And this provided a place where you could sit down and relax while looking at the wonderful view. In addition to this, the fences were also painted to both make the outside area look a lot better, but also to protect the fences from eroding and falling over. In addition to the main renovations for each room, there are also some smaller miscellaneous things done throughout the whole property to make it look better. These included painting the door and window frames, replacing the doors to the laundry cupboard in the hallway, removing the carpet in the hallway and polishing the wooden floorboards underneath, and purchasing furniture to fill out the whole property. To give a final evaluation of the renovation, we can use the purchase price of the property along with the weekly rent. So before anything was changed about the property, it was worth $262,000, which is the purchase price, and the tenant was paying a rent of $280 per week. Going through the property, the kitchen cost $12,600, the dining and living area cost $2,200, the bedrooms cost $9,600 together, the bathroom cost $3,900, and the outside areas cost $5,200. The other miscellaneous costs totaled to $9,500. And the items that are included in this are any tools or materials that were needed for the renovation, as well as paying the builder, painter, plumber, electrician, sander, and a handyman. Because these tradies came in and fixed up lots of stuff around the property, it's not that easy to be able to associate these costs with any specific rooms. All of this adds up to mean that the renovation cost $33,000, with another $10,000 being spent on furniture to fill out the whole property. So, after the renovation, the property was worth $340,000, which is $78,000 more than what it was purchased for. Considering the renovation cost $33,000, this means that the renovation made the property's value increase by an extra $45,000. To work out the yield of the property before the renovation, we divide the purchase price of the property by how much rent was being paid before the renovation. And this gives us the amount of 5.56%. Providing the property is fully furnished, it means that tenants will on average pay about $50 more per week for rent. After the renovation took place, the rent went up to $490,000. To figure out the yield now, we still calculate the yearly income, but then divide it by the purchase price of the property and the renovation costs put together. This shows us that the new yield is 8.35%. Although the rent increase is nearly double, increasing by $210 a week or increasing by 1.75 times, the yield increase is not quite the same, only increasing by 2.79% or multiplying by 1.5 times. We can see something very interesting when we compare the renovation costs to the increase of rent paid per week. This shows us that by investing the $43,000 into doing a renovation, we get a 25.4% yield on that $43,000. Now this is a very, very high yield for a pretty low risk investment option. So in comparison, the average growth of the stock market is 10% per year, and that's based on the average over the last couple decades. Making this choice of investing the $43,000 into a renovation, making this option 2.5 times that of investing it in the stock market, meaning that it's a very good option for what you can do with your money if you already have an investment property and you want to invest into something that has this similar risk level. That's all for me today. Please feel free to support the video by hitting the like button down below, and you can subscribe to be kept up to date with my future projects that I'll be sharing. I've been Tom, and this has been another video of Tom 20 Magic. See ya!